Hey everybody, welcome to Project Podcast. We thought we'd start out a little bit silly today and dance. I'm Ira, your host, and this is Tabitha Kavanaugh, also known as Tab the Recruiter. Welcome to the show.
Hey Ira, thanks so much for having me today. I'm really excited.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's early in California, so we thought we would dance and wake me up.
Yes, God bless you for getting up so early to make this happen.
A lot of people don't know, but Project Help You Grow is not my day job. I don't make any money on it, so I do it, before and after, hours. And so podcasts are usually recorded for me really early in the morning. So I appreciate you coming on. I love having you. In fact, you and I have been connected for a while on LinkedIn, but this week was really the first time that we had talked in person, on the phone and stuff. And so I'm really excited to get to know you better. And I have 3 questions for you on the show like I normally do, so we're going to try and keep this to 10 minutes. But I'm excited because you and I, as I'm finding out, have a lot in common. So I'm excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to meet people. And I always say, never discount a connection. Just because you don't speak right away doesn't mean that a year later something cool can come from it. So
there's no doubt about it. All right. So if you're ready, I'm going to jump into this so we don't go too long.
I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1 is you strive to help your clients understand and see their own potential, not just with who they are and what they've done already, but who they could become with the strengths and the building blocks that they already possess. So I love that mentality, and I wonder if you can share how you help your clients see past their doubts and insecurities to help build them up.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think I learned a lot from a lot of the trials and obstacles I've gone through to, realize in myself that I have things like grit, it's one of my favorite words, inside of me that I can pull from. And I think everybody has that to some extent. And sometimes you just need someone or something or an event to pull it out of you.
No doubt.
So when I'm working with my candidates and my clients, I've asked people before, I've had people have doubts in themselves and they're like, oh, I don't really know if I'm at that level yet. And I really just try to challenge them and ask them, why do you think that? And then by the end of the conversation, they're like, wait, I was wrong. No, I can do this.
Yeah.
So I think it just comes down to asking the right questions and investing in them and then listening. So really, if I had to sum it up in like 2 words, I would call it intentionally curious. And making sure that I'm like that with every person that I speak with. And I think that's how I'm able to make a bigger impact, even if we don't move forward to, a job or I don't place them somewhere or something doesn't come of it right then. I really strive to leave breadcrumbs along the way and uplift people. And you never know what can come from that in the future.
Yeah, I love that phrase that you just said, intentionally curious. In fact, I just wrote it down so I don't forget. So it'll be like in the description of this podcast and in the post and all that stuff. I love it. That's awesome. And you said something too, I think that is key, like asking questions and then listening to people. Sometimes we're always in a rush to especially I'm guilty of it too. I'm in a rush to talk, and tell people what I know as opposed to listen to them. So, sometimes that's all we need is somebody to listen to us. So that's cool. I love it. Okay. Question number 2. On LinkedIn, just the other day, you and I were discussing in the comments of a post how important it is that we show people in our profile photos on social media, our energy. And it's also important that it be a current photo. So, when we walk in, they see us, for who we are. They recognize us, right? So your profile photo on LinkedIn is a lot of fun. It's a great photo. And I just thought my audience might like to hear from you a bit more about your philosophy on this and how it helps them in their job seeking efforts.
Sure. Yeah. I really think a profile photo does matter. And yes, there's the whole, argument over having a profile photo and people discriminating against that. But I feel like one thing I try to ask myself, thank you to Miranda Von Fricken, is that what's the best thing that can happen? And so that's what I try to think about. I think if people ask themselves that in regards to their profile photo, well, what's the best thing that can happen? Not, well, what if somebody discriminates against me, but what greatness can come from that? And I think being able to portray your energy and who you are right now is so important. It's kind of like a dating website, right? You know, you put your photo up there, and or somebody might put their photo up, and maybe you meet them in person. You're like, wait, where's the photo from the internet? So it's like just yeah, it's like just represent yourself as you are now, and if you're not a bright, happy person, you don't have to have this photo with butterflies and unicorns and sparkles. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. But if you are, let that shine. And so I would urge people to really look at themselves and think about who they are and what they want to portray, and then have fun with it. Yeah. My profile photo I took in a hotel hallway with my boss, Jamie, when I was up visiting in Connecticut. And we were just having fun, and we were laughing. And I mean, there were probably 30 photos we took before one of them came out to be one that I really felt fit my personality. But it's such a fun thing to do, just, to represent yourself in a way that suits you. And that's why I say I would never take a photo of myself with a suit on, stuffy, like up against a wall. And there's nothing wrong with that. I didn't say stuffy.
I left my jacket off just for you.
But see, that might fit you. That might fit someone else. There's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't fit me.
Yeah, I wear a tie like every day. So because
exactly,
I go to church, and I go to a kind of a conservative church, and we still we wear suits, and then I dress up for work. So for me, a tie is not stuffy, but I totally get. You'll never catch my brother, for example, in a tie ever. Like, doesn't fit him. So.
Right. So yeah, and I didn't say a tie is not stuffy, but for some people, of course, I will never wear a tie. Although I have been known at a wedding or two to steal a tie and put it on.
I'm so offended you're picking on me. What are you doing, Tabitha?
I am. No. Whatever's you, just do you, and don't try to mimic someone else. Just let your personality come out. If that means that it's in a studio, or it's up against a wall, or whatever, or if it means you're outside doing something you love, just let it be that, and don't feel forced to be this other person for a profile picture.
There's no doubt. In fact, I had updated my profile photo on Sunday this last week because I don't know if you noticed, but I have a little less hair up here than I did before. And so all my profile pictures had I had a faux hawk the last profile photo that I had up, and I'm like, I don't want people to say like, who are you? Like, you got his glasses on, but where's Ira? So that's why I did it. And I try to tell the female people that asked me, like, okay, if you're going to change your hairstyle, like the color or whatever the length, you should probably update it too. Even if you don't think you look as nice, like you're not as in love with that particular style, like you kind of regret the change, it's still what they're gonna see until you change it again. So, and then the other thing I like to tell people too, you don't have to pay a professional. Like, there's nothing wrong with paying a professional. By all means, knock yourself out. Photographers are great, but every photo you see of me on LinkedIn, for the most part, was shot with my iPhone. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to have some amazing professionally a studio, like you just said. You shot yours in a hallway of a hotel in Connecticut, and I think it's great. So people don't necessarily have to have like a perfect staged photo shot by a professional that they spent a couple $100 on. You don't need that. So
exactly. And even if you're buying the times a little bit, and maybe your phone isn't even a smartphone or with a great camera, likely someone that has an iPhone or a Samsung, whatever, all the different, they have such great cameras today. My camera takes the most amazing photos. So, you don't have to I spent $0 for that photo.
Well, and the filters, right? So sometimes like right now, looking on the screen, it's a little, like, for me, it seems like it's a little bright, but if I was to take that picture with my phone, I could flip through the filters and find one that it looks better and use that. So that's part.
Well, I love your photo. I think your photo is just, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. It exudes your energy, and it's bright and happy. And like you said, you just took it with your phone. So
yeah. It's funny because in that one, I was with my wife. She photobombed me at church, and I edited her out.
Bye-bye, wife.
It was like, what am I doing? I'm erasing my wife.
Yeah, this feels weird, but I need to do it. Sorry.
You know what it is, though? It was the photo bomber's revenge. Like, if you've ever wanted to get a photo bomber back, that was it. Photoshop, I erased her, and there
you go. I love it.
All right, question number 3, because I can ramble all day. You work now as the Vice President of Talent Acquisition, Sales, and Marketing for SomethingNew LLC. And in your job description, you talk about something, an acronym, ASAP. And I thought I knew what ASAP stand for, but I don't, because it's Accurate Search, Accelerated Placement. And that caught my attention, obviously, with the project. So, an accurate search and accurate accelerated placement is something that caught my attention. So I was hoping that you might tell us a little bit briefly about that and how it's helping job seekers and businesses both.
I love our ASAP. What it is, essentially, without giving too much away, but what it is a really deep dive into, we have one for our clients and we have one for our candidates. And we just dig deep and we go in and we ask the hard questions, and then we listen. And when we're finished listening, we are not afraid to challenge the client, challenge the candidate against their own way of thinking. People hire us, especially on the client side, that's who writes our checks. And they might not have the most lean process. And right now we're in the craziest, most competitive job market in, I think they said 49 years. So basically everyone right now in business has never seen a market like this. And the candidate pool, there's just so much talent out there, and everybody's fighting for these same jobs. So clients are overwhelmed, and they're going to lose talent if they're not accurate, if they're not accelerated. So we make sure that they really look at their process, who's involved, and see what matters, who needs to be involved. Yeah. So that's a little bit more about it, but it's just the way we go about things to be very precise and make sure we are as thorough as possible, because we pride ourselves on our vetting process on both the client side and the candidate side.
That's awesome. It's amazing. And actually, if you don't mind, I just want to clarify what you said about the 49-year job market competition, the position that we're in. You're saying that it's harder than it's been in the last 49 years to find a job, or it's easier now than ever before for the last 49 years to find a job if you're looking for one? Which
it's hard. I believe it's harder, and every candidate I talk to is having trouble. They're like, I've never had this much trouble finding a job before, and right now they're struggling. They're going on interview after interview after interview, and there's so many candidates that it's a process, and I know it's very frustrating for a lot of people.
I wanted to make sure I heard it right. With my dyslexic brain, I'm like, did she just say it's the easiest it's ever been? I'm like, that's not what I'm finding, but I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. No, thank you for clarifying. Happy to make that clear.
Well, we came in with music. We were going out with smiles. I'm so thankful to have you on. I think it's been great. I think people are going to really appreciate the information that you shared, especially about the profile photo, because I know a lot of people are curious about that and how it all works. But I'm going to also link this to your LinkedIn profile. So if they click on this, it'll take them. And so hopefully they can follow you or connect with you and get more help from you guys. That's something new as well. So I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you very much for coming on.
No, thank you. I'm just so happy to have conversations. I think I'll end with one conversation can literally change someone's life. So I always stay open to that. And I'm really grateful for the time you gave me today. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. We'll see you again real soon.
All right.